enjoyed about being in Europe was that there was usually prices on everything. Now I'll tell you something about that. When I was in southern Italy, they started removing their prices when they saw me coming on a regular basis. Guess what I did? That's right, I quit buying from them. I pass with my hands full with all these bags of food. I make it a point to walk right past the people I didn't buy from, you see. And they're watching you and they're seeing you and they're like, oh wow, they spent all that money somewhere else. So we're back in our $300 apartment, and it's almost a minimalist apartment. And so we've been abroad 10 years, and having never paid more than $300 or $400 for 3 or 4 bedroom apartments, furnished and unfurnished, or houses. Welcome to Frank and Angie's channel, where we discuss the retire early lifestyle, whether it's at home or abroad. Thanks for coming to our channel. All right, so I've talked about how being in a place like Latin America, Central America, and places like Eastern Europe, and even small town Southern Europe, our interaction with locals, the way that people get things done is more on a one-on-one personal level than what we're used to, you know, back in our home countries, especially after what's happening during 2020, in the sense that a lot of the smaller businesses are being put out of business by these nonsensical policies that you're seeing around the country, like in the US and maybe even Europe. And so that what it's doing is it's forcing the small businesses out, and yet these larger businesses, like I saw somebody said, well, I'm a truck driver and I'm delivering for the big corps, you know, Amazon and Target and all the chains, and they're busier than ever, while the small business people are not making ends meet. Even here in Ecuador, I see some of these small places that their prices are going lower and lower, and then they've got a sign, business for sale. They're just not cutting it. Back to our interaction, I hope that it doesn't disappear. I mean, it's just a certain level of existence when we come to these countries that I absolutely enjoy. It's part of the experience is to handle people on a one-on-one. How we feel or how we relate to the people around us. To me, it comes down to whether or not you believe or feel, or you are or act, that you are on equal footing with the culture. Now, equal footing, we're the same, we're equal. In other words, I'm not better than you. I'm not somebody that has more money than you, or even if I don't know whether I have more money than you, but culturally, we should feel equal and not feel like I have more money than most people in this culture, or everyone in this culture sees me as someone that has more money automatically just by sight. Right? So, and it's not just money. Again, it's a belief. And our beliefs a lot of times are born out of our understanding and what we know. So a lot of times our beliefs can be changed based on what we learn and what we understand. In other words, when our understanding becomes enlarged and we get more facts, then we can change what we believed before. Feelings of inferiority, you know, perhaps we feel that we owe the locals something. We owe them to spend more money. Paternalistic feelings that we have to donate more money in rent, and we have to donate deposits, and just all these kinds of fuzzy kind of feelings and behaviors that have nothing to do with the facts. They're just beliefs and opinions. that manifest themselves in how people relate to other people and with cultures as a whole and in general. For example, if you feel like you're this rich big guy that's beating down this little old lady, you know, on the price of something, and this is just all part of what I just talked about, you may be in the wrong place. And that's the part that when I think about it and I realize that it's so important to put yourself on an equal footing with the locals. But not everyone is comfortable with that. I see people struggling with that issue. Like somebody said, I can't see just beating down a little old lady on her price on whatchamacallit, her majiggers or something. That couldn't be further from the truth. First off, I would never ever do such a thing, and I would never even just insinuate that anybody should do such a thing. However, you do know the principle and the concept that as foreigners, we are just labeled and grouped and profiled. And there's a certain behavior that we've talked about many times. In other words, you know, the prices tend to, you know, they just kind of they start floating, okay? They start floating around, especially, you know, when there's no prices on anything. That's what I really enjoyed about being in Europe, was that there was usually prices on everything. Now, I'll tell you something about that. When I was in southern Italy, they started removing their prices when they saw me coming on a regular basis. Guess what I did? That's right, I quit buying from them. Yeah, and they figured it out. It took them a few weeks. They figured out that if the price wasn't on it, because remember that the price was on it when you first show up and you're the first guy in town, which we were, the foreigners, you surprise them. They don't know you're coming. And then maybe they see you and maybe, oh, you're just a tourist passing through. But when they see you the next Saturday and then the next Saturday, okay, then they start thinking, oh, hey, we've got foreigners coming in, and they start playing their little games. Of course, we're privy to this. It's no surprise. I'm not surprised at all. I'm actually expecting it. They start pulling the prices, right? And of course, we just pass those people right up. And this is what I'm talking about. There is absolutely no need to feel like you have to beat anybody down, regardless of what your financial status is in life. You're just simply playing the game. The way I play the game, and I always have and always do, is I think some people refer to it as passive aggressive. I don't argue with people. You know, I'm just giving you some tips here that I just pass by, and then where the price is, I buy from them, and then I pass with my hands full with all these bags of food. I make it a point to walk right past the people I didn't buy from. You see, and they're watching you and they're seeing you and they're like, oh wow, they spent all that money somewhere else. And I actually overheard them telling the municipality people, I overheard them saying, and they referred to us as the Americans. The Americans won't buy if there's no prices on the merchandise. So it's like they figured it out. Bingo. All right, so that's the game, and I just, you know, people get the wrong impression sometimes when you sit here and you talk about some of this stuff. You know, I talk about my experiences, our experiences when we interact with people, and there's never any conflict whatsoever. It's always. This happens almost every time. Like I just went around the corner here, and the husband wants to sell me, let's just say, potatoes at 80 cents. Then I go back next week and he's not there, but the wife is. And you know, oh, the price has gone up, they're $1 now. You know, there's never any argument, never, ever. Not a word is spoken. The best thing to do is just simply leave. It's passive aggressive. If I say anything at all, it's, well, okay, fine, the price has gone up. When you see me walking by, when the price comes back down to the 80 cents that I paid with your husband, just wave at me and I'll come and get them at that price. And then you just say, have a nice day, you smile and you leave. That's not beating anybody. That's just normal, everyday interaction, give and take between people, and you're actually respected when you behave that way. To insinuate that you have to become some kind of ugly American where you're just verbally, you know, abusing people or or just arguing and haggling. You know, that's just a kind of picture that you know, it's born out of inexperience in dealing with these kinds of cultures on a regular basis, which is what we do every single week. So yeah, if I was going around arguing with everybody every week, nobody would like me. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.